Good day, everyone. After the receivable management, let's proceed to the next topic about inventory management. But before that, let me read our objectives. First is to classify different inventories. Second is to identify the importance of inventory management. Third is to identify the function of inventories. Fourth is to identify different inventory techniques. And lastly, explain some inventory control system. So, inventory management is a critical element of the supply chain. It is the tracking of inventory from manufacturers to warehouses and from these facilities to a point of sale. The goal of inventory management is to have the right products in the right place at the right time. Inventory management also helps companies to identify which and how much stocks to order at what time. It tracks inventory from purchase to the sale of goods. Also, the practice identifies and responds to trends to ensure that there are always enough stock to fulfill customers' orders and proper warning of the shortage. So, sinasabi rito na ang roll down ng inventory management ay itrack kung ano bang nangyayari sa mga inventories, kung sakto ba yung supply or demand or whatsoever from manufacturers to a point of sale. Tapos, through inventory management, kayang ipulpil agad ng business yung mga orders ng customer and syempre, malalaman ng business kung paubos na ba yung stocks. Let's say, for example, yung summer job ko sa isang restaurant dito sa Cam Norte. Daily, nag-inventory yung ang naka-assign doon to know if ano yung kailangan pagkabukas para maging maayos yung flow ng business and hindi magkaroon aberya pagdating sa customer. Kung kaya, masasabi ko napakahalaga ng pagkakaroon ng inventory management. And once this inventory sold, it becomes revenue. But before it sells, inventory ties up cash. Therefore, too much stock costs money and reduces cash flow. Syempre, dito sinasabi lang na pag mas marami kang stocks, syempre, mas mababa yung ma-inflow sa yung cash kasi nga mas hindi pa na-solve ito sa sa customers. And one measurement of good inventory management is inventory turnover. An accounting measurement, inventory turnover reflects how often stock is sold in a period. A business does not want more stock than sales. Also, poor inventory turnover can lead to dead stock or unsold stock. Ito, pinag-aralan na natin last time na sinasabi na ang inventory turnover is kung gaano kadalas na sold yung isang product. So, importante ito para malaman natin kung na mabilis bang masold yung product so kailangan pa nating improve. And after talking so much about inventory management, let us now define what is inventory and its classification. Inventories are essential part of virtually all business operations and must be acquired ahead of sales. The main classification of inventories are: for manufacturing, we have the raw materials, the goods and process, the finished goods, and factory supplies. While when it comes to trading firms, we have the merchandise. Let's elaborate more about these classifications. So, raw materials are materials or substances used in the primary production of manufacturing goods. So, hindi na ito bago sa atin ang raw materials kasi ito yung mga tinatawag nating input resources na kailangan upang makabuo tayo ng mga finished products or goods. Ang example nito ay steel or oil o langis, gasoline, lumbers, forests, resources, natural gas, coal, or even minerals. Pwede din with. Ito yung mga ginagamit natin para makabuo tayo ng isang finished goods or yung tinatawag na natin na merchandise. Another classification of inventories is goods in process. Goods in process is part of an inventory account on the balance sheet of the manufacturing company. It relates to partially completed goods that are somewhere in manufacturing process and not yet ready for sale. Um, a firm that produces raw materials may use goods in process to indicate inventory that is not ready to be sold to customers. Sinasabi lang rito na from the word itself na yung goods ay pinaprocess pa lang. So, yung magagastos natin sa paggawa ng goods is i-account yun sa goods and process. For example nito, nag-harvest ako ng 4,000 na wheat na or kilo ng wheat na gagawing flour. Pero hindi pa ito milled. So, ito na yung tinatawag natin na goods in process pa lang. Tapos, yung gastos do na sa pag-milled is i-account natin sa goods and process. Finished goods is another classification. This is the goods that have been completed by the manufacturing process or purchased in a completed form but which have not yet been sold to customers. Goods that have been purchased in a completed form are known as merchandise. So, sinasabi rito na ang finished goods is yun nga, yung from input, nagiging output na siya. Ito na yung tinatawag nating finished goods. Like ng example ko, yung wheat, pag na-milled na yun, magiging flour, ito na yung tinatawag natin na finished goods. And, yun yung pag finished goods pa lang, huwag kayong malilito. Pag sinabing finished goods, is hindi pa siya yung ready ibenta. Tapos na siyang gawin, pero hindi pa siya ready ibenta sa market or sa customers. Pag ready na siya or na siya, nasa store na siya, um, yun na yung tinatawag nating merchandise. Mamaya pag-aaralan natin kung ano yung merchandise na yun. Ang factory supplies are considered inventory. It includes maintenance materials, janitorial supplies, and items that are considered incidental to a production process. They are usually charged to expenses incurred, in which case the supply expense account is included within the cost of goods sold category on the income statement. So, ang factory supplies ay ito yung mga ginagamit natin sa day-to-day activities or production ng business. Katulad nito ang pencil, paper, pen, paper clips, or whatever materials. Ito yung mga hindi katulad ng equipment na na-depreciate. Ito lang yung ginagamit natin pang araw-araw. And for trading firms naman, we have the merchandise, katulad ng sinabi ko kanina. Pag ready na siyang i-sell sa customer or sa market, ito na yung tinatawag nating merchandise. It is a goods to be bought and sold. Yun lang. Simple explanation ng merchandising. So, bakit nga ba importante ang inventory management? So, inventory management is vital to a company's health because it helps make sure that there is rarely too much or too little stock on hand, limiting the risk of stockouts and inaccurate records. Public companies must track inventory as a requirement for compliance with Security and Exchange Commission rules, and companies must document their management processes to prove compliance. Katulad nga ng mga una-una kong sinabi, na sa business, napaka-importante na matrack nila ang kanilang mga inventories for them to know kung sapat ba yung stock nila for this period. Also, hindi sila nagkakaroon ng surplus nor shortage sa supply ng isang product. And also, need nila yon for compliance na rin sa mga need nila ipasa at ma-accomplish with Security Exchange Commission para masabing maayos ang kanilang business. And now, let's discuss the benefits of inventory management. The two main benefits of inventory management are that it ensures you're able to fulfill incoming orders and raises profits. But it has more benefits. It also saves money. Understanding stock trends means you see how much of and where you have something in stock, so you're able to use the stock you have. This also allows you to keep less stock at each location, sample store or warehouse, as you're able to pull from anywhere to fulfill orders, or all of this decreases costs tied up in inventory and decreases the amount of stock that goes unsold before it becomes obsolete. Dito, dahil nga natatrack nila kung alin ba yung mas mabenta sa hindi at alin mas yung mas need sa maraming supply. In this way, nakakasave sila ng money dahil walang naliles ang mga nasayang na goods na pwedeng mag-result sa losses ng business. Take for example yung Jollibee, di ba marami silang brand? So, through inventory management, nalalaman nila kung aling branch ang mas mabenta at madaling makaubos ng stock. So, may posibilita na dagdagan nila yung stocks na yun na pinapadala nila. So, walang masasayang or magiging unsold. And then sa mahina naman, may possibility na through this, then makakagawa sila agad ng intervention kung paano nila papalakasin at pwede nilang for the meantime, babaan muna yung supply na pinapadala. Another benefit was it improved cash flow. With proper inventory management, you spend money on inventory that sells, so cash is always moving through the business. Sabi rito na pag maayos yung inventory management, it means di ka magkakaproblema sa orders mo. Pag hindi ka nagkaproblema sa orders mo, magiging maayos ang service mo sa customer, which may result sa magandang flow ng cash sa business. And another one is that it satisfies customers. One element of developing loyal customers is ensuring they receive the items they want without waiting. Yun nga, pag maayos yung inventory management mo, hindi magkakaroon problema sa stocks and order. So, hindi magkakabere sa pagdating sa customer, hindi na kailangan mag-wait pa ng customer. So, possibly, yung customer na yun ay pwedeng maging loyal customer ng business as long quality palagi yung binibigay na goods and products sa kanya. And I can say that's for my part. The next important information will be discussed by Ms. Lastrilla. Thank you.
So, okay, let's now proceed to the functions of inventories. So, as it has been stated, inventories, whether they be in the form of raw materials, parts and components, work in process, or finished goods, can rightfully be regarded as the lifeblood of the production and distribution system. So, within this system, the following functions and uses of inventories can be identified as: first is the pipeline or transit inventory. So, pipeline inventory consists of goods that a company has ordered but which have not yet arrived in the facility. So, managing this type of inventory can help schedule production or shipments in advance to reduce standing inventory levels and avoid stockouts. So, for example, crude oil that is being exported from Saudi Arabia to Europe. And we also know that these two locations are quite far away, and the delivery takes weeks to reach the destination. So, all the crude oil that is being shipped is called transit inventory. While it is in transit, it is the responsibility of the seller to pack and store the product in a appropriate way, since it is a hazardous material. So, another simple example is yung mga finished goods that is being transported from the factory to the warehouse, or a shipment moving from a warehouse to a retailer. So, therefore, pipeline or transit inventory simply defined as these are the inventories which are being moved or transported from one location to another. Next is the organizational or decoupling inventory. So, decoupling inventory ensures all stages of a production and operation system can continue even when there are inventory gaps or slowdowns in other areas. So here, inventory managers reserve a portion of the stock for each node of production. For example, sa computer manufacturer, they would set aside a portion of the parts needed at each stage of building a laptop as a barrier against inventory interruptions in the operation nodes. So, sa organizational or decoupling inventories, yun yung mga inventories that are maintained to provide each link in the production distribution chain a certain degree of independence from the others. Next function is the seasonal or anticipation stock. So, anticipation inventory is the stock that is kept according to the expected consumer demand. It is quite similar to safety stock that will be tackled later, but it differs in the sense that this stock is usually kept seasonally when the demand for the products can vary greatly. So, for example, a retailer stocks more ice cream just while the summer season is about to begin because he is expecting for the demand for it is rising during the hot season. While the same retailer reduces his ice cream stock as the winter season approaches. So, Basically, these are built up in anticipation of the heavy selling season or in anticipation of price increase or as a part of promotional sales campaign. Is the batch or lot size inventories. So lot size refers to the quantity of an item ordered for delivery on a specific date or manufactured in a single production run. So ang simple example lang here is kapag bumili tayo ng isang pack ng 6 chocolates, it refers to buying a single lot of chocolate. So therefore, batch or lot size inventories are the inventories that are maintained whenever the user makes or buys material in larger lots that are needed for his immediate purposes. Last function is the safety or buffer stock. A buffer acts as a cushion to absorb the impact of potential harm. So, ganito siya. Of course, the higher than expected sales is great, but running out of inventory is never good for business. Even if your business takes the time to forecast demand, inventory forecasting is never 100% accurate, and so much can happen throughout the supply chain. So, keeping buffer inventory is a great way to reduce stock out costs and avoid delays in order fulfillment and shipping. So, think of it as a contingency plan, preparing for the unexpected. So, for example, the inventory management, they keep extra levels of raw materials like fruits and sugar on hand to account for disruptions from their supplier. And that will be called as their safety stock. It ensures that they are able to keep production running in the event of an unexpected raw material shortage. Also, they keep on hand extra inventory of gems sealed in jars, labeled and ready for sale, and that will be called as their buffer stock. It ensures that they are able to keep converting sales in the event of an unexpected demand spike. So, in a nutshell, safety or buffer stock are those inventories that are maintained to protect the company from uncertainties such as the unexpected customer demand and delays in delivery or goods ordered. So now, let's proceed to the costs associated with investment in inventory. So, to provide the inventories required to sustain operations at the lowest possible cost, it is necessary to identify all the costs involved in acquiring and maintaining inventory. So, we have here three classifications, the carrying costs, ordering, shipping, and receiving costs, and cost of running short. So, the following are generally the costs associated with inventories, which could vary from firm to firm, from item to item, and also over time. So, first here is the carrying cost. Inventory carrying costs refers to all the fees and expenses for keeping items stored before they are sold. So, carrying costs can vary based on the type of product you sell and the costs of storage. This type of costs can include fees such as the taxes, insurance, labor wages, kasi the more na madami kang personal, dagdag costs mo yun. And warehouse rent, it depends sa product mo kasi, and yung dami ng product mo kasi mas malaking warehouse yung ma-occupy mo. And in many cases, you may even have to pay for replacing damaged or perished goods, which further adds to your carrying costs. So, yun ay ilan sa mga carrying costs ng isang company or business. Next is the ordering, shipping, and receiving costs. Ang ordering costs are essentially costs incurred every time you place an order from your supplier. On the other hand, the shipping costs, these are the charges that are associated with moving goods from one warehouse to another. Here, the cost varies widely depending on which items and industries are involved. And lastly, the receiving costs, which include the unloading the goods at the warehouse and checking them for defects. Last classification is the cost of running short, or also known as stock out costs. Whenever businesses run out of stock for whatever reason, they incur these costs. First is if the production was disrupted. Of course, in a business that involves producing and selling goods, there may be a problem that disrupts the process. Even if no product is being produced, businesses must pay for their workers and factory overheads. Next is the sending urgent shipments. For example, retailers may have to pay extra to get the shipment on time or may have to change suppliers because of stockouts. And lastly is the reputation and loyalty to customers. Of course, customer dissatisfaction and anger result in lost business from customers who will go elsewhere to buy, and for sure, which will affect the company's reputation and customers' loyalty.
Hi, I'm Juliana Cassandra and I will be discussing the inventory management techniques. So, first is inventory planning. So, i-define muna natin kung ano nga bang inventory planning. Inventory planning involves the determination of what inventory quality, quantity, timing, and location should be in order to meet future business requirements. So, yun nga, ang inventory planning is nakakatulong siya para ma-make sure natin na yung mga in-order nating stocks ay enough lang for making and selling items. Also, para malaman din natin kung gaano tayo kadalas magre-reorder. So, sa madaling salita, ang inventory planning is helpful siya para makatipid ang isang business. So, yun, let us proceed sa objectives ng inventory planning. So, first on the list is forecasting. So, from the word itself, forecasting means pagpipredict sa future. So, sa forecasting, isa siyang systematic process ng paggamit ng marketing plan para ma-predict yun nga yung future inventory requirements. So, tinatawag din itong inventory estimation. So, paki-take note po. And sa controlling cost naman, next na objective ng inventory planning, meron tayong tinatawag ditong holding cost or yung carrying cost na diniscuss ni Ms. Lastrilla. So, dito pumapasok yung mga taxes, purchase cost for items, insurance, securities, and etc. So, ang isa sa goal ng inventory planning is mabawasan yung mga cost na ito. So, yung last na objective ng inventory planning is efficient storage. So, with well-designed storage facilities and by iterating the layout and design over time, you can favorably impact the bottom line. So, ang key point lang nito is to arrange high-demand items to reduce travel time. In this instance, high demand equates to frequently requested rather than high numbers of items. So, in addition, syempre kapag sobra yung mga stocks na in-order natin, so kukulangin tayo sa storage. So, ang goal ng inventory planning is magkaroon tayo ng efficient storage. So, yun, let us proceed naman sa mga formula na kailangan natin para sa inventory economic order quantity. So, first formula is yung economic order quantity or yung EOQ. So, ang formula na ito is kailangan natin para ma-determine natin yung ideal order quantity na need ng isang company para ma-maintain yung efficient e-commerce supply chain while keeping the cost down. So, hindi naman tayo pwedeng mag-estimate lang kasi pwede tayong mapasobra or kumulang. Kasi nga, diba, ang isa sa mga goal ng inventory planning is makatipid. So, ang ilang benefits nito is minimizing inventory cost, minimizing stockouts, and syempre improve overall efficiency. So, para makuha natin yung economic order quantity, kailangan natin hanapin yung square root ng 2 times annual demand in units times cost per order over carrying cost per unit. So, under ng economic order quantity is yung total inventory cost, total ordering cost, total carrying cost, and yung average inventory. So, para makuha natin yung total inventory cost, kailangan nating ipag-plus or ipag-add yung total ordering cost and total carrying cost. So, yung dalawang yun is may formula din. So, ang formula for total ordering cost is yung naka-flash screen, annual demand in units over EOQ or yung order size, i-multiply natin ito sa ordering cost per order. So, sa total carrying cost naman, ang formula nito is yung average inventory, which is may formula din para makuha natin, and times carrying cost per unit. So, ang formula po ng average inventory is EOQ or order size over 2. So, next is yung reorder point. So, para makuha naman natin yung reorder point, kailangan din natin ipag-add yung lead time usage plus safety stock. So, sa next slide is meron tayong problem para mas maunawaan naman natin kung paano nga ba natin isosolve yung mga formula na to. So, para mas lalo nating maunawaan yung mga formula, let us proceed naman sa example problem na economic order quantity. So, the problem is assume that a local gift shop is attempting to determine how many sets of wine glass to order. The store feels it will sell at approximately 800 sets in the next year at a price of 18 pesos per set. So, the wholesale price that the store pays per set is 12 pesos. Cost of carrying one set of wine glass is estimated at 1.50 pesos per year, while yung ordering costs are estimated at 25 pesos. So, sa problem na ito, ang hinahanap is yung economic order quantity and yung total inventory cost. So, para mahanap natin yung economic order quantity and yung total inventory cost, nilista ko na dito yung mga kailangan natin para ma-solve yun, which is yung annual demand in units na 800, ordering cost per order na 25 pesos, carrying cost per unit na 1.50 pesos. So, I hope na meron kayong mga calculator dyan para masabayan nyo ako na ma-solve ito. So, first is hanapin mo natin yung economic order quantity. So, para mahanap yung economic order quantity, kailangan natin square root yung 2 times annual demand in units na 800 times ordering cost per order na 25 pesos over yung carrying cost per unit na 1.50. So, ang magiging sagot ay tama, 163 units per order. So, ayan, nakuha na natin yung economic order quantity. So, proceed naman tayo sa total inventory cost. So, para makuha yung total inventory cost, kailangan natin ipag-add yung total ordering cost and yung total carrying cost. So, di ba sabi ko sa inyo kanina na yung total ordering cost and total carrying cost is may kanya-kanyang formula. So, para mahanap yung total ordering cost, kailangan natin ipag-divide yung annual demand in units na 800 and yung EOQ na sinolve natin kanina na 163 times yung 100 times 25 na ordering cost per order. So, ang magiging sagot is tama ulit, 122.70. So, ang next naman nating hanapin is yung total carrying cost. So, sa total carrying cost naman is kailangan natin ipag-times lang yung average inventory and yung carrying cost per unit. So, para mahanap yung average inventory, may binigay din akong formula kanina na kailangan natin i-divide yung EOQ na 163 over 2. So, tapos ita-times natin ito sa carrying cost per unit na 1.50 and ang magiging answer is 122.25. So, yan. Since both na ng total ordering cost and total carrying cost is nahanap na natin, ang next na gagawin natin is pagpa-plus sila para mahanap yung total inventory cost. So, 122.70 plus 122.25, ang magiging total inventory cost natin ay very good, 244.95. So, that's all. Next na magpe-present is Mr. Monterde and itatakal niya yung reorder point.
Good morning everyone, I am Jordan P. Monterde and today I'm going to discuss to you about the EOQ reorder point of determinations. EOQ reorder point is a contraction of the term economic order quantity reorder point. So, it is a formula used to derive the number of units of inventory to order that represent the lowest possible total cost to the ordering entity. So, from the word itself, EOQ reorder point of determination helps the firm to determine how many units are they going to buy or how many units are they going to order again. So, in order for us pa to understand what is the EOQ reorder point determination. So, as you can see in the slide, here's the following inventory information and relationship for value corporations. So, number one is orders can be placed only in multiples of 100 units. So, number two is annual usage is 300,000. So, assume a 50-week year in your calculations. Number three is the carrying cost is 30% of the purchase price of goods. Number four is the purchase price is 10 pesos per unit. And number five is the ordering cost is 50 pesos per order. And the number six is the desired safety stacks is 1,000 units. So this not includes delivery time stack. Lastly, the number seven is delivery time is 2 weeks. So given the information, there are three questions. The letter E is what is the optimal EOQ level? The letter B is how many orders will be placed annually? And letter C is at what inventory level should reorder be made? In order to answer the letter A questions, if what is the optimal EOQ level, we are going to solve using the formula and determining the economic order quantity. So EOQ is equal to square root of 2 times annual demands in units times cost per order divided by carrying costs per unit. And based on the inventory information and relationship of Baguio Corporation, the annual demand per unit is equal to 300,000. The cost per order is equal to 50 pesos. The carrying cost per unit is equal to 10 pesos purchase price per unit and 30% purchase price of the goods. So, ang next steps lang natin is i-substitute yung given data dun sa formula. So, the economic order quantity is equal to the square root of 2 times 300,000 times 50 divided by 10 times 0.30. Baka magtaka kayo if saan galing yung 0.30, siya lang yung 30% na i-convert natin into decimals. So the answer will be 3,162 units. But since order must be placed in multiples of 100 units, so the effective EOQ becomes 3,200. So na-determine na natin na ang sagot sa optimal level of EOQ or the economic order quantity is 3,200. Another, para naman makuha yung number of orders nila annually or per year, we're just going to use its formula. So the number of orders is equal to the annual demand in units over EOQ or the order size. So based on the given data, the annual demands in unit is equal to 300,000, while the EOQ or order size is equal to 3,200, which is yung na-solve natin na EOQ kanina. So 300,000 divided by 3,200, the answer is 93.75 order per year. At para naman masagot yung letter C question na at what inventory level should recorded be made, we're just going to use its formula. So reorder point is equal to lead time usage plus safety stacks. So we're just going to substitute all the given data dun sa formula. So for the lead time usage, 300,000 divided by 50 times 2. Then the safety stacks is plus 1,000. So 12,000 plus 1,000 is equal to 13,000 units.
Costs associated with safety stock. So first, what is safety stock? So safety stock, the additional inventory that an organization keeps so that they do not run out of stock of a particular product. It can be calculated using the safety stock equation, which takes into account the average daily demand, lead time, and desired service level. Safety stock, also defined as the extra stock that is preserved by a business entity to minimize the risk of a shortfall in their existing stocks. Safety stock, also known as buffer stock, is an important part of inventory management. So in simple terms, it is a type of inventory to protect your operations from uncertainty because you'll never know what's going to happen. Safety stock inventory is a term used for the inventory we keep in stock to protect against potential future disruption, variation, and uncertainty of supply and demand. Without any safety stock, a small delay in an incoming shipment of raw materials or sudden unexpected surge in demand could cause production to stop or stock out. Some prefer to call this buffer inventory, while others reserve this term for temporary inventory held with the system to protect a particularly important process from upstream disruption. So what is the importance of safety stock? If you have launched a new product, safety stock becomes a necessity until you can understand market trends in better terms. The amount of such stock a business holds on to has a direct impact on the company. So, many businesses deliberately keep this extra safety stock inventory to protect themselves against a certain level of foreseeable variation or disruption. And safety stock, it helps eliminate the hassle of running out of stock. If you hold sufficient safety stock, you needn't rely on your suppliers to deliver quickly or turn away customers because of depleted inventory levels. So, safety stock covers you until your next batch of ordered stock arrives. How do we determine what this buffer should be? Well, unfortunately, there is no universal formula which can be used to calculate safety stock, but there are many different methods we can use to calculate safety stock. To get the benefits of keeping safety stock, you need to know how much safety stock to keep. This is because too much safety stock can lead to higher holding costs, and too little safety stock results in loss of sales. And with the use of a formula, it will help you calculate the optimal amount of safety stock for your business. So here in our example, to determine the total cost of the optimum safety stock levels for an air purifier unit, we just added the total carrying cost to the total expected stock out cost. Herein presented illustrative case 5, costs associated with safety stock. Hard Hat Incorporation operates a chain of hardware stores in Metro Manila. The controller wants to determine the optimum safety stock levels for an air purifier unit. The inventory manager has compiled the following data. First, the annual carrying cost of inventory approximates 20% of the investment in inventory. The inventory in investment per unit average 50 pesos. The stock out cost is estimated to be 5 pesos per unit. The company orders inventory on the average of 10 times per year, and total cost is equal to carrying cost plus expected stock out cost. The probabilities of a stock out per order cycle with varying levels of safety stock are as follows. So, ito yung units of levels of safety stock. We have 200, 100, and 0, 0. And yung stock out na 0, 100, 100, and 200, and the probability of 0% and 15, 15, 12. So, the presented solution we have here is, we have the annual carrying cost, which is yung safety stock na 100, and multiplied by 10 is equal to 1,000 pesos. Next is yung stock out cost natin na 100, i-multiply lang din dun sa presented probability na 15% and sa ating stock out cost na estimated na 5 pesos per unit, and then dun sa average na 10 times per year ng company orders inventory. And we have the total of 750. And then add natin yung 1,000 and 750. Meron na tayong total cost na 1,750 pesos. So what are the reasons why company and businesses carrying a safety stocks? First, if a company is involved in the manufacturing process, then it becomes imperative to keep safety stock because the lead time can be much longer and you will not be able to meet consumer demand at the right time. Second, there is a great gap between forecast and actual demand. Safety stock absorbs the variability of demand and improves the service level adequately. An important reason for holding on to safety stock is that it prevents complete stock out during a sudden demand for that product. And next is that safety stock acts as a buffer when inaccurate planning or miscommunication and mismanagement result in a delay of products. And lastly, safety stock helps to keep the supply chain running smoothly between the warehouse and the customer. Safety stock inventory is generally carried by companies, businesses, and other organizations since it is more than simply good to have. It is essential. It is mostly utilized in a make-to-stock manufacturing approach, which is used when the production lead time is long enough to meet the customer's demands at the proper time and price. Safety stock's main goal is to cope with varying customer demand, stockouts due to fluctuations, and an increasing tendency in consumer demand are minimized by keeping safety stock on hand.
For the continuation of our discussion, I will be discussing level monitoring and inventory control system. Ano nga ba yung level monitoring and inventory control system? According to definition nito, it is the regulation of inventory within predetermined limits. Effective inventory management should provide adequate stocks to meet the requirements of the business while at the same time keeping the required investment to a minimum. Meron itong mga types. The first is fixed order quantity system. Fixed order quantity system is a system wherein each time the inventory goes down to a predetermined level known as reorder point. So, dito sa figure, makikita natin na merong time interval and meron safety stock na kung saan ito yung level na may highlights and meron ding reorder point na na mag-order lang tayo kapag yung safety stock natin is nakarating na doon sa reorder point. Kunyari, meron tayong 10 na safety stock, tapos ang reorder point natin is 5. So, once na maging 5 na lang yung safety stock natin, doon na tayo magre-reorder point ulit. Or doon na ulit tayo mag-place ng order doon sa supplier. To set up the order point, there are important factors to be considered. The first is the quantity level, which specifies the number of products to be ordered. Yung hindi ka basta-basta lang mag-order na, ganito, kailangan, I need 100, na hindi nyo naman na kailangan sa company ninyo. So, dapat be specific kung ilan lang talaga yung kailangan ng company ninyo na darating din naman sa computations. Second is, the lead time for the product is the time taken from the moment on order is placed until it is fulfilled by a supplier. Demand during the product's lead time should be evaluated in order to balance demand till supplies are delivered. When the order point of level of the stocks is attained, the order can be placed safety stock level in order to avoid stockouts and preserve a sufficient level of stock. So, ang formula ng order point natin is the demand during lead time plus the safety stock. And DDLT, or the demand during lead time, is equal to the units required each period times the lead time. Yung lead time nga na na-discuss dito is kung kailan ka nag-order at kung kailan dumating yung products, yun yung lead time natin. So, to compute naman ng the order point is lead time demand plus the safety stock. Ito yung, kung hindi naman given yung mga ibang datas, pwede natin gamitin itong iba't ibang breakdowns ng kanilang formulas. So, the example of this system is a two-bin system. Ano nga ba ang two-bin system? According dito sa definition niya, Two-bin inventory control is a system used to determine when items or materials used in production should be replenished. Magbibigay tayo ng example. Example of this two-bin system is a Kanban two-bin system where you have two storage, which is storage A and storage B. Na para yung storage A and storage B is para silang merong supplies or stocks na ang una mo nang gagamitin, ubusin mo natin yung storage A. Once na maubos na yung storage A, kailangan na siyang punan ng storage B. Isasalin mo yung laman ng storage B papunta sa storage A, at once na maisalin mo na yun o may lipat mo sa storage A, dyan ka naman papasok yung pag-order mo ulit kung ilan yung nawala dun sa storage B na pinilipat mo sa storage A, para yung cycle paulitan ng paulit hanggang sa maubos ulit yung storage A at papalitan ulit ng storage B, tsaka ulit magre-reorder. Yun yung example ng two-bin system. And the next is fixed reorder cycle system. This is also known as a periodic review or the replacement system, where the orders are made after a review of inventory levels have been done at regular intervals. An order is placed if at the time of the review the inventory level had gone down since the preceding review. The quantity ordered under this system is variable depending on usage of or demand during the review. So, magagamit mo lang itong fixed reorder cycle system after mo nang ma-review kung ilan nga ba or gaano nga ba kadami yung demand mo, kung gaano nga ba kadami yung gagamit nyo sa production. Doon lang kayo magbe-base kung ilan dapat yung i-order ninyo. Which is, meron naman tayong computation for replenishment level where M is equal to B plus D times the sum of R and L. Ano nga ba yung M? M stands for replenishment level, B is for the buffer stocks, D is the average demand per day, and R is the time interval in days, and L is the lead time in days. Well, meron tayong given example para how to calculate reorder level or replenishment level. First, identify your average demand. Next is figure out your lead time. The third is determine whether you keep a safety stock. Fourth is apply the reorder level formula, assess and adjust as necessary. So, average daily unit sales of ghost classes for an example. So, meron tayong three datas na sa kung saan the month and the sales quantity. In January, meron siyang 65 sales. In February, merong 70, and in March is 45. So, to compute the average sales per day, ito-total lang natin yung sales niya per month, i-divide lang natin siya sa 30, sapagkat ang average day ng per month is 30. So, 180 divided by 90. So, average sales per day natin is 2. So, meron na tayong first things na kailangan to calculate the reorder level. Meron na tayong average demand. And sunod natin kukumputin ngayon is yung buffer stock or safety stock. How to compute nga ba? How to calculate the safety stock or buffer stock? Ang formula nito is maximum daily use times maximum lead time minus the quantity of average daily use times the average lead time. Which is, makikita natin na yung ang maximum daily use nito is sa February, which is 70, divide natin sa 30 sapagkat ang average day ng is 30. So, 70 over 30 times 7 days. Sapagkat ang maximum lead time dito sa delivery time is 7 days. Minus the quantity of average of daily use na kanina na-compute na natin, which is 2, and the average lead time naman na nandito na-compute na natin is 5. So, ang safety stock natin or ang buffer stock natin is 6 units. Ito naman, na-compute natin yung average lead time by adding the delivery time of January, February, and March, which is 7 plus 5 plus 3 is equal to 15 days, which is 3 times siya nag-order. So, i-divide natin siya sa 15 over 3 is equal to 5 days. So, meron na tayong identify your average demand, figure your lead time and determine your safety stock. Ngayon, dadako na tayo dun sa replenishment formula, which is M is equal to B plus D times the summation of R plus R and L. So, ang buffer stock natin is 6 units. And ang average demand per day natin is 2. And ang in time interval natin is 2 days. And ang lead time natin in days is 5. Where M is equal to, since this is the direct substitution na to, sapagkat meron na tayong mga given datas, which is M is equal to 6 plus 2 times the quantity of 2 plus 5. And the replenishment level is 20 units. Dito na papasok yun. Itong fixed reorder cycle system na mag-order ka lang ulit ng stocks mo once na yung natitira mo na lang na stocks is 20. The next one is optional replenishment system. This system represents a combination of the important control mechanisms of the other two systems described earlier. Replenishment level is computed by the use of the following equation, where P is equal to B plus D times the quantity of L plus R over 2. And where P stands for the reorder point in units. And B is buffer stock, D is the average daily demand in units, and R is time between reviews, and L is the lead time. Well, given the data from the earlier discussion, gagamitin lang natin yung mga datas na yon para hindi na tayo magkaroon pa ng maraming example sapagkat almost the same lang naman sila ng process ng computations. Nag-iiba lang yung nagkaroon lang ng additional computation, ng additional formula and other call dito sa optional replenishment system. So, since meron na tayong given datas, direct substitute na lang natin yung mga given datas natin where P is equal to 6 plus 2 times 5 plus 2 over 2 where P is equal to 16 units. So, gamit ang optional replenishment system, malalaman natin na 16 units yung kanyang reorder point or reorder level na di katulad nung sa una-una na 20 units gamit yung fixed reorder cycle system. So, gamit ang optional replenishment system, mas mababa siya compared sa nauna. So, mas konti yung need niya o yung kanyang reorder stocks level is the ABC classification system. Under this system is the segregation of materials from selective control is made. Inventories are classified as high-value items, medium-cost items, and low-cost items. Okay. A items is the highest possible controls including most complete, accurate records, regular review by the top supervisor, blanket orders with the frequent deliveries from vendor, close follow-up through the factory to reduce lead time. And the B items is normal controls involving good records and regular attention, good analysis for ECQ and order point but reviewed quarterly only when major changes occur. And C items is the simplest possible controls such as periodic review or physical inventory with no records or only the simplest notations that replenishment stocks have been ordered. And dito sa figure na to, makikita natin na yung analysis ng ABC, which is A stands for the expensive inventory and accurate control required, where B is the moderate value inventory, moderate control required, and C is the low cost inventory and the minimum control required. Okay. The inventory control technique of ABC analysis is used to improve the stock count cycle in a company. For example, the good category of A are counted quarterly para mas siguro nila na yung stocks nila is okay pa. Kasi ito yung mas expensive, mas important products compared dun sa B and C. Where B naman, pwede nilang i-check ito, yung kanilang inventory or stocks biannually or every 6 months, semi-annually. Sapagkat hindi naman ito talaga kailangan, so hindi nila kailangan i-focusan ito. Siguro mag-check lang sila nito once na magamit nila yung ibang supplies dito sa category B. And sa category C naman, ito yung halos annually lang or once a year lang nilang chine-check yung kanilang inventory sapagkat hindi naman to masyadong ginagamit sa kanilang production or sa kanilang supplies.